In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to analyze field data as compared to record deed information, and then perform an alignment of the field information onto the deed location or vice versa. This is all using Carlson's deed correlation program. So to begin with, we can see I have a very short traverse in 6 different monuments. They range from a concrete monument to some iron pipes found at the corners of the record deed, demonstrated by the green line and bearings and distances over to the right. The typical method of performing this type of operation is to do exactly this, and that is to bring in field information that was done on an assumed bearing and then align it to a record deed holding a recorded plat bearing system. By looking at the data, you can see that I have points 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15 as monuments. The first thing I'm going to do is place points at all the corners along the deed. I'm going to be strategic about how I do that to make the next step simpler, and that is to carefully select point numbers to correspond with the field points. So my field points go clockwise, starting at number 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So I'm going to also start at the same point in common and set points in that same clockwise direction. So I'm going to go into Draw Locate Points. I'm going to give it a starting point of 1010 to correspond with field point number 10. Put them on a different layer called point CALC for calculation, and simply use screen pick. With my entity snaps, I will snap to the endpoint. The command prompts for an elevation. I'm going to leave that at elevation 0, and a description. I'm going to use the description CALC. Same thing at the next point, and continue setting points in order. Now the reason why I took my time and set in order instead of just windowing everything in is to get the sequential point numbers to line up with my field point numbers, which makes the next step go quicker. I then go into Survey. Under Deed Tools, find Deed Correlation. When I execute that command, it creates a .dcf file. I can name this anything I want. It defaults by the same name as the drawing. I'm going to accept that default. It's called basicdeed.dcf. And here is my entry dialog box. At this point, I just add points by clicking on Add, and I enter the survey point, which is point 10, and the correlating deed point, 1010. And I hit OK. You can see it displayed at the top of the dialog box. Then I add another point, point 11. Is equivalent to point 1011. And I continue this procedure for all of the points. Once I complete this procedure, as you can see, I have 2 options to align this, either the survey to the deed or the deed to the survey. The first thing I would like to do is to examine the data and see how well my field points fit with the record location. I can do this with a typical inverse report. By doing that, I can get an inverse between every combination of points that are contained in the file. The Compare Before an Alignment command compares an actual X and Y, or northing and easting comparison of the location of the point itself, which at this point in the process doesn't really accomplish a lot since the points are intentionally so far away from each other. Probably the most useful option, though, is to use the Find Minimum Alignment command. When I do this, the program calculates the best fit position of holding a single point and rotating to another point. So again, this is a static rotation where one point is held in position, the other one is used for rotation. But as what you can see in the report, you will get residual amounts of how close each monument fits. This way you are able to highlight very quickly suspect points, or points that you may not wish to hold. Now this report gives a good snapshot of the data itself. However, as a surveyor, you may wish to hold something other than the best fit alignment. For instance, if a record deed calls to an existing street monument and the secondary monuments, the iron pipes, were never on the original deed, then it may be required under your judgment to hold a different monument. So if you would like to do that and see how your data fits, you can use the check alignment. This allows you to manually type in a survey point. So let's say we're going to hold point number 13 and rotate to point number 14. When I do that and hit OK, it gives me a similar report with different residuals. So you can see how it affects each point that you're going to hold or rotate to. This report, of course, can be saved or printed and kept as part of your project information. So I'm going to exit this and once again use the Find Minimum Alignment, and this time I'm going to hold that. So once I'm happy with my alignment, I can hit Apply Alignment, and this basically brings you into the Align Points command that's found in the coordinate file utilities. Now, one thing to be very careful of is the range of points. As you can see, it is only grabbing the points that are included in the correlation deed file. It does not include the 3 traverse points. So I'm going to change the point range from 1 to 15 to make sure I'm rotating all my field points. And you can see that the program holds the first source point as point number 14 and is going to move that to point 1014 and rotate the second source point being point number 10 and the second destination point being 1010. It also gives you an option to align screen entities. I'm going to accept that option so I can grab the traverse lines that I've drawn in there. So this can be performed after you have downloaded, say, something like Field to Finish that contains a lot of graphic information. You can select that and rotate it. This command works in both directions. So if you would prefer to align the deed onto the field points, this process would just simply be reversed. Now I hit OK. The program asks me to select the entities. I'm just going to window all of these in and hit Return. As you can see, I align 9 points and hit OK. I can now go back into Deed Correlation, Deed Tools, Deed Correlation, open up that same file, and now when I hit Compare, I will get that same report of residual positions of survey versus deed. This allows you to print this out and make notes as to which points you might want to draw a detail of or index or show as being out on your plat. This also gives you the ability to go back in the future, even years from now, and be able to run a quick report to ensure that your points have not shifted. Again, save the file and exit.